house.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. If you would stand, and we'll have Miss Jorgensen, who we're glad to have back, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll have Reverend Dan Phillips lead us in an invocation.
That's right. Father, as these leaders, as these servants of our community are gathered together to conduct business, Father, we pray that your presence is known and felt here in this room, and that all that is done and all that is said is done not only in a courteous manner, but with one utmost thought in mind. How can we make our school system the best school system for our children? Thank you for the commitment of these people that want to be a part of this process. Father, I know that times that they have to be concerned with getting things and ordering supplies, but Father, may their first thought always be attracting the very best teachers, the absolute most committed administrators to lead this organization, to teach our children, to guide them, to instill in them, Father, a love for learning and an even deeper love to tell others what they have learned. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this meeting. Father, in Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you so much. Please be seated. A while ago, I mentioned if you had not, and so desire, filled out a public comment card, now would be the time to come get one from Miss Douglas over here, if you'd so desire to address a topic or speak. With that, I would ask everyone to turn off your cell phones, and we will get started. And first thing we have on the agenda would be presentations, and I'll turn it over to Miss Criswell, who she and I suppose, will work together while Mr. Crawford puts her best speaking voice to the test.
We're really excited today to have this opportunity, and I hope that most or all of our teachers are here. And I want to read to you the letter they received from our Commissioner of Education, Pam Stewart. Dear distinguished Florida educator, on behalf of the state of Florida, I would like to congratulate you for being one of the highest impact teachers in the state. In a recent analysis of your former students' performance on statewide standardized assessments, for which a state-level value-added model, or VAM score, is calculated, the Florida Department of Education found that your impact on student learning is among the most statistically significantly positive in the state. Importantly, the department's analysis is based on VAM, which is a part of an educator's overall evaluation. The analysis completed by the Department of Education used each of the most recent 3 years of data, 12-13, 13-14, and 14-15, in which you taught any of the following grades and subjects: reading, grades 4 through 10, mathematics, grades 4 through 8, or algebra 1, grade 8 and 9. Whether in a classroom where students arrived already high achieving, or a classroom in which students were underperforming, your efforts provide inspiration and opportunities to young people that may have been otherwise inaccessible. We know more than we have ever known about the impact teaching has on student outcomes. With this knowledge comes the occasion to celebrate successes, and also implores us to support all educators in their journey to become effective in the classroom. And that process starts with recognizing you. We invite you to learn more information about the process used to identify you as a high-impact teacher during a 30-minute informational webinar that they provided February 29th. Thank you for your hard work and the result your work is having on Florida's students and communities on Putnam's students. You are appreciated and respected, and we are grateful to you and hope that you will continue to prepare Florida students for college, career, and life. Sincerely, Commissioner Pam Stewart. This is probably one of the highest honors that have been handed out by the state and by the commissioner for teachers, and I can't tell you how proud I am that we have 32 teachers across Putnam County who have reached this level. And that says a lot about them, and today as we present these certificates, they are representing great teachers all across Putnam County, but we are especially excited about them today. So this is their day, and Ms. Crawford, if you'll go down, I'm going to have you read the certificate, and Mr. Buckles, if you'll come down, and we will congratulate them. And teachers, as you come up, if you will stay for an individual picture, and then we're going to line you up here so we can get a group picture. And principals, thank you so much for being here today to see this.
Hi, I'm gonna stand right here with you, is that okay?
No, you got to get over there.
Golly.
No. First, we have Rona L. Alsobrook. Erin Michelle Alves. Melissa Miles Arentz. Joni E. Carnes. Carolyn L. Carter. Melanie W. Clubb. Christopher M. DeLuca. Lorraine N. Flathman. Vicki Hinton Fort. Damon Everett Frazee. Oh, sorry. Damon Everett Frazee. Shay Elizabeth Freeman. Susan M. Gladys.
doesn't usually know his own name.
Luz Guerrero Arias. Willa Jean Hayes.
Say, talk my babies.
Mary A. Hawley. That was Arlene.
Absolutely. Of course, you didn't get this when you had my kid, right?
And excuse me if I mispronounce this, Roger T. Horacek? 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 Tiffany M. Howard. Kristen L. Hudson. Lisa M. Massey.
I know it's scary, isn't it?
Rhonda C. Massey. Marion A. Mathis. Bobby Ann Okeson. Donna Gale Pilling. Morgan Elise Reed. Tanya K. Richards. Angela Lynn Simeon. Paula Simmons. Jamie Lynn Turner. Chris E. Wyckoff. And Deborah G. Yeomans.
We'll stand up behind you.
Okay. All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to get some people over here.
Good job.
Somebody help me with it.
These back in there.
These are ones that aren't. Somebody over here.
Guess we give these to Pam.
We'll make sure.
Just right in between them, in front of them. There we go. Yeah, in between them, yeah, in between them. Switch places. I gotta get y'all close together, otherwise it's gonna be real spread out. There we go.
Terry, Nikki.
Y'all need to stand and come.
Okay, thank you.
I need one.
Well, wait until he's ready.
Or I can stand. That's not a problem. It's my outfit that I'm.
Well, you're fine. It blends
Can I
in.
stand like this?
It kind of looks like you have a vest.
You're only going to see arms and heads anyway.
Willie Jean's got big hair, it'll cover her.
This way. Thank y'all.
Hey, any other board members need a computer? Are you able to access?
Yeah, I am.
You're able to access? Charlie, are
Oh,
you
y'all
able to
couldn't?
access?
Thank
Charlie,
you so much, teachers, for
not
being here
now.
today. Principals, we know that you have great teachers at your schools. These are your teacher leaders. Thank you for working with them, and thank all of you for what you do for children. And if you want to wait just a minute before you head out the door, Jason Reeves is here, if he would come up, and I think Dr. Coleman is out of school this afternoon, but Jason, if you would come up, just face the group.
Jason, where's your golf club?
Jason Reeves at Melrose Elementary and Dr. Melissa Coleman at QI Roberts Junior Senior High School are the principals from our 2A schools this year, and we want to recognize them. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. We won't make you stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you for being here today and letting us honor you.
We're good now, I think.
I'm fine. Y'all couldn't get on that?
No.
Okay, moving on, we'll go to public comments. Seeing none, we will progress to the consent agenda. And do any board members have items they would like to pull from the consent agenda?
No, Mr. Chair?
None.
None.
And I have none, so,
Mr. Chair?
yes,
I
sir.
move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second by Ms. Jorgensen. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Well, that was quick. Let's go on to
They sure are loud.
Emergency session.
emergency session. Let me find my packet here. Mr. Douglas, did you want to say a few things in this?
Is Mr. Hedstrom here to present about the Solution Center? So the
Mr.
item
Weaver.
on your agenda for the emergency session relates to two students who are currently at the Solution Center, but who, at the recommendation of Palatka High School, would be requested to move from the Solution Center back to
Jenkins.
Palatka High School.
Oh, it says Jenkins.
Is it, I'm sorry.
One and one?
I thought it was Palatka High School.
It's Jenkins.
Okay. And there apparently is a need for additional space at the Solution Center. So these two students, it was determined by the principal and at the school that they would not present a problem. Travis, would you
Yes,
explain
actually,
further?
what's going on is, I spoke with Mr. Hedstrom this afternoon just to make, is that better?
Yeah.
I spoke with Mr. Hedstrom this afternoon just to make sure I had his request, that I fully understood it. What's happened is they are over on their allocations at Jenkins Middle School for Solution Center, and they have been working with some students through their MTSS process over the past few months that they believe will end up needing to go to Solutions. And the two students in question were placed at Solutions by the board in lieu of expulsion. So because of that, and them knowing that they're going to need additional space, and after reviewing the student records over at Solutions, they had looked at these two students and basically made the determination if they needed to take some back to open up the spots that they need, that these would be the two that they would be willing to work with. With that being said, they did come before the board for expulsion, and I think you have the information there as to the nature of the expulsions. One of them was for the remainder of this year, one of them was for the remainder of this year and the next year. So we just wanted to make sure you were fully aware of what you were voting on to
Sounds like
return.
they've done everything they were asked to do while they were at Solution Center, and Randy must be okay with taking
It
them
was
back.
Mr. Hedstrom's request to take these back because of their need to be able to place other students.
But
That's
I mean,
yes.
but that's not the only, I mean, he's okay with taking them back. I mean, obviously.
Yes, he's okay with taking them back, but the catalyst for it was he needs the
He's got
spots.
two that are in worse.
Yes. I believe it's some continual disruptions of the school that he's having some issues with. Both of these were, if I remember correctly, were one-time events.
Need a motion then.
Well,
If I could just ask too, just on the board's behalf, you know the situation of these students. In your opinion, do you believe that these students are a risk to other students at Jenkins if the board approves these students coming back?
I don't know the two students other than the time I met them here.
I am confident enough that if Mr. Hedstrom has volunteered to have those students return, that he will personally watch over them very carefully and cautiously. And if they get the least bit out of line, he would call for law enforcement to intervene. Chairman, so I'll have to.
I would think that since the board allowed them to attend Solutions in lieu of expulsion, and because they are being excused early, and that kind of trust is being placed in them by the principal and staff at Jenkins, that if they do something at the level of this in the future, between now and the end of the school year, that this time they would be expelled. I think that needs to be made very clear also to Mr. Hedstrom, that they have been given an opportunity, and if they don't take advantage of that they can be expelled for the remainder of the year.
Yes, ma'am. And just to clarify, they are currently there, and there is room for them now. But again, I just want you to understand that he's looking at being able to take them back early to make room for other discipline issues that he's dealing with currently.
right, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
the nature of their charges are serious. I don't know, Board, if you've looked at this, but I mean, it's bad. So if there's any misstep, I can just tell you that, I think they need to be told very clearly, there is no room for a misstep, particularly dealing with these charges. Okay?
It's in the information on the
It's at the
charges
end
is
of
in your
the
packet.
emergency session, at the end of the emergency session. And so, I mean, that's just how I feel on it because of the nature of the charges, and I obviously,
Agree.
I mean, there's just no room for, grace has been given, we all need it. But the seriousness of the charges is such, if they continue, we have no, I can only speak for me, I have no choice but to.
Travis, is there any way that you could go sit down with them as the big
Absolutely.
guns and,
Say from us,
and tell them what we've said and,
right?
you know, kind of
Yes,
scare them
yes,
a little
ma'am.
bit?
Do you put the fear of God in?
I will,
Well, I just think coming
Relay
from the
your
head of the
concerns. How's
security
that?
and the,
I can,
Relay our
I just,
concerns.
I feel certain that Randy Hedstrom is competent enough.
but they
as-
still need
in
to
his
know.
physical size and ability to let them know they're getting a very good deal.
right. I do think it was important that you know the nature of the incidents as well,
Yeah, we-
though, so.
I mean, hopefully
Certainly,
everybody read
certainly,
it.
it-
them well.
Yeah.
I'd remember them too, and it could easily be expulsion if we so chose, but based on what's happened and based on the need for him to have more
It's called a
space,
second chance
he
too.
feels like he has a more pressing issues to be addressed than some children who made a one-time mistake, so that's up to the rest of the board to make your motion.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I move that we, on the request from Jenkins, and reassign these two students back to their respective schools.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Wright and a second from Ms. Jorgensen. Any discussion? I think you discussed it adequately, so without any more ado, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. I know you're provided under,
You want to take us out of the emergency session?
you want to what?
Take us out of emergency.
We're now out of emergency session, Ms. Criswell. I know that makes you feel better, because that is the right thing to do.
Getting Robert's rules to do.
I know that we've got the financial statements for the Children's Reading Center Charter School in Putnam County, Arts and Sciences. So if you have any questions, you can bring those up after board reports and board attorney and superintendent. So with board reports, I'd like to start with Ms. Crawford.
Well, I'd just like to say I've been observing all of the things that our schools are doing to prepare our students for the FSA, which they will have to take the week we return from spring break. I'm just, praying and praying and praying that all of that hard work pays off. I know the students are working hard, the teachers are working hard, and the administrators are working hard to help the students do their best on these tests.
Ms. Cummings.
There's a lot of great things going on around our county. Safe spring break for all the students. We have a neat event our county does called Touch a Truck out at the Triangle Park and the fair, of course. And there's just a lot of work that goes upon all these activities, whether it's school involved or community. And so I just ask the community to embrace it, to take advantage of it. The Bassmaster Classic, that's a fun thing for kids. My kids got to meet some of the pro bass fishermen yesterday. It was a lot of fun. And so just engage in your community, enjoy these times when we have neat things to do. And again, all the extra work, the health department, the rec department, the fair board, these things are for us and the community and our kids. And if we don't take the advantage of them, then I feel like our kids are missing out. So again, just thanks for all the hard work, and hopefully kids can enjoy their time and be safe for spring break.
Mr. Wright.
Yeah, just a couple of things, Mr. Buckles. Reminder that the play is coming up. Mary Poppins is going to be awesome. I want to encourage everybody to go see that. Also, testing, that's already been mentioned. We need to be in prayer. I've been talking to several teachers and just believe that that's going to go well. Spring break, already mentioned, just for a safe safe travels there. And I just want to remind the community how thankful we are and appreciative that they have gotten behind our backpack program. I know we mentioned that a lot, and Nikki really was the spearhead on this thing about 3 or 4 years ago now. And we have students, and I hear this from teachers and administrators when I go out and talk to them. When there's a Monday off or there's going to be a Friday off, there are students who will make a beeline to the counselors and say, please don't forget me. Please remember to call me down. And I just want to say a real special thank you to, I know our church and other churches are involved in helping, and the community. These kids are in need. Many of these students are in need. And if we didn't provide, many of them wouldn't eat. And that's uncomfortable to hear, but it's fact. And so thankful for everybody who's involved and those who help, and just glad to be a part of it in our little way in our corner. So thank you.
Kathy, you've been in our thoughts and prayers. I'd like to go ahead and turn this over to you and let
Well,
you.
thank you.
let you
First
give
thing
your
I was
report.
gonna do is thank everybody for the good wishes and the prayers. There's power in prayer. Separation, never mind, right?
We didn't hear it.
You didn't pray, you just talked about it.
Right, I just.
Yeah, right, that's right,
There
right.
is
You can talk about it.
Tremendous power.
You're not proselytizing.
That's right. I'm just telling you all. Okay. Solution Center. I was at expulsions this morning, and again, there was one, but there's no room, and it sounds like the California prisons where they have to let them out so they can put more in. I mean, I'd like to know if the board is on board with, there's enough room over there to open up another room and have about 20 more kids. But we need a teacher allocation. Now, we have a number of teachers retiring this year, a large number. And their pay scale is here, and then we have the new ones coming in down here. So maybe there's enough money there, but for an allocation. I talked to the superintendent, and she's agreed, but I want to get the feelings from the board before I start meetings and all that.
Well,
Go ahead, Terry.
I would just say, even though Miss Piazza doesn't run it, she's co-located. So I would certainly want her involved in any conversation before expanding.
She would welcome
She would
another
welcome
teacher.
it.
Okay,
We've
all right.
talked
This
about this
weekend.
a lot, actually. Rhonda has told us many times that Solution Center is not self-funded like our schools are. And certainly, everything that we do is for children. We tend to try not to spend as much money on this smaller group who probably do need more help, but our hands are kind of tied because it's not something that's really supported by the legislature or funded by the legislature. And when the students come to Solution Center from the schools, they aren't paying for it, the district is. And it's something that Rhonda's struggled with for years because of the money issue. I told Ms. Jorgensen I absolutely agree. It would be nice to have one more teacher to see if we could do something. Certainly, Rhonda being the very sharp chief financial officer, assistant superintendent for business and finance that she is, has probably already looked at the teachers that are leaving this year to see what she might be able to save, because she's been doing this a long time and she knows all the ins and outs. She knows where to look. She knows how to figure out how she's going to do next year's budget, and next year's budget is going to be extremely tight because of what the legislature did to us last minute on a Sunday afternoon just a couple of weeks ago. So certainly the need is there. The money, the funds are not always there. Ms. Jorgensen and I even talked about the schools kicking in a fee from their discretionary funds to pay for, or to help us pay for, this additional teacher. If it's important to them, and they're planning ahead. They know in next year's budget, they know usually how much money they get in discretionary, and if they decide to go ahead and set a portion of it aside so that if they have more students than normally we allocate to them at the Solution Center, they can plan on putting in their fair share, and if we are able to do that with all of the schools, plus whatever little money Rhonda can find from however many people retire, and we're not replacing them with that high a paid person. Rhonda juggles a lot of stuff. God bless her. I know that this is important to you. It's important to me. Mary Piazza has done some amazing things over there and gotten the community involved. Stuart Marchman comes in and does counseling. The staff there at Solution Center are amazing, and they counsel those students themselves. I don't know that I'd want to put 20 students or 18 students together because of their issues, but maybe 10 to start out with and see how it goes, and maybe increase it to 12. But to expand it as needed, depending on the severity of the situation that the children are coming from, and then we can kind of figure it out as we go along. But certainly I agree with Ms. Jorgensen in the request that we're making to Rhonda today to look at this seriously for us and maybe give us a report at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, there's another problem that goes along with this. I spoke to Mr. Weaver, and some of the schools are tossing kids into Solution Center that really are borderline, and that's kind of, half of them don't need to be there, but you know what I'm saying? And we would need to amend our policy or whatever, yes? No?
That's
Am I
not,
lying?
that, yeah, that,
I'm confused.
not say, yes. We were talking about, there was a number that you had mentioned.
Yes.
That was quite a large number.
Yeah.
And I stated, if that were the case, I would be afraid it could be overused.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what I was referring to, yes. But currently, our code of conduct outlines it pretty
Right.
specifically, so,
Mr.
Right.
Weaver, are there any schools with ISS right now?
yes, yes.
Jenkins, Palaca, all of them?
Interlochen High does.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
I don't think Palaca.
I don't
does.
think
just
Palaca High
curious.
does any longer. They
we
did
had-
at one point, but not any longer.
Yeah.
They've opened it back up. In
Did
school
they?
suspension?
In
Yes.
school.
It is back open
Yes.
with Coach Pat.
I don't know who's in it, but I'm pretty sure they
I
have.
was just curious.
Rhonda, we're not funded for that, are we?
No.
See, that's another unfunded mandate, and I remember when that started, as a chairman, I,
Yeah, they have to use a
and a
teacher
former principal,
allocation.
Yeah,
and someone who
that's
dealt
what
with
I
expulsion for many years, some children just forfeit the right to attend public school with their actions. I feel very strongly this could have been a case that could have gone that way, but with the help of administrators and teachers, they were able to give these students who made a really poor mistake and choice the opportunity to work themselves back into the school. So I would have to, before I agreed, and of course I'm just one person on the board, I would have to have Rhonda let me know what we're doing without in order to fund a position for children who don't seem to want to attend, you know, and I think that
Well,
we
that's
could be
not the
able to
only
do that, but
reason.
it's something that I'd have to look at.
And if you don't mind me saying this, some of the problem we run into, like today with Mr. Hedstrom's request, schools, through the principal and the school-based team, can place students at alternative placement already without coming through the committee or the board. And they know how many allocations they have, and Mrs. Piazza's done a great job splitting it up based on enrollment, of how many allocations each school would have based on the teachers that she has available. And schools try to plan for that. But some of the issue we've come into lately, and I'm not saying this is wrong, this is correct, it's just where we are. When a student's recommended for expulsion, that committee and the board has the alternative in lieu of expulsion, placing them. So some of those spots that they were counting on for some of the severe discipline that might not rise to expulsion are then taken by those expulsion requests, if that makes sense, so.
Yes, because certainly when it comes to the expulsion committee, the school feels like they've done everything they can, and the next step has to be expulsion for that particular student. So if the committee decides to send them to Solution Center, that school is then charged with an allocation to the Solution Center. So it's I don't know, it's a catch-22, I guess.
Yeah, because all that plays into our dropout rate and our
Yes.
graduation rate. We
Yes.
need,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, it's in light of that, it's in light of that, Madam Superintendent, that I'm not sure the schools being charged would be necessarily fair, because the board oftentimes,
take those spots.
we take, as you just mentioned, we take those spots. So passing that responsibility to the schools, I don't think it's necessarily.
Well, they could be charged, though, for
necessarily
the
fair.
students they want to send that aren't up for expulsion, but they
Right.
want to send them to Solutions for
Brett-
repeated referrals or
Right,
whatever,
right.
through that MTSS RTI process.
Right.
And because if they have their own in-school suspension, but it's severe enough they want to send them to Solutions,
Right.
that I'm just saying that's an option. It's not something that I relish doing, because certainly they're discretionary funds. They could spend them 10 times over with the different things they need or want to do at their schools. But I'm not sure how to do this in a really lean budget year that we've got coming up.
Well, I have a recommendation. We have a newly formed foundation, and foundation is about raising money. We could put in a request, though they act independently, but we could put in a request to the foundation that they search for grants for at-risk students, because I think we would agree that these students would probably meet all the criteria of at-risk students, and see if perhaps there's money that the foundation could secure for training or staffing, or I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out as a
an
as a
option.
recommendation.
It's an
So
option.
I think theoretically it sounds great, but I'll have to wait till we get into the process this summer to really understand what, if we need a chemistry teacher somewhere or a band instructor, do we do away with that in order to have the teaching unit? So you're trying to be all things to all people, and you really, it's up to us to draw the line. There is a need for this. I think Kathy's extremely clear on that, and I think she has been for many years. And if we can, I think we will try to do it, but there may be, like Terry said, another way to skin the cat.
Well, some of these kids I've seen that have been expelled, we're throwing them away. They're done. They're not coming back in a year and a half. They're already behind 2 grades, whatever. And it's like a death sentence almost. They're done. They're spending their life in prison, more than likely. I have a question for Rhonda. If we sentence, and I hate to use that, but if we send a student to Solution Center for an entire year, can we send the FTE there?
So right now, we don't have the FT. One student only earns like 1/18 of a teacher, So if a school loses that student, they're not going to give up the teacher that is associated with that student. But, whatever the board's priorities are, I can certainly try to build that into the budget. Because I like each year, y'all, you give me what is important to you. Like last year, we did 2 or 3 different things. So I try, as we go into the budgeting process, to include that. So if you're telling me that another allocation is something that you're really interested in, I'll put that on my budget list and we will work into it. But, to answer your question, it wouldn't be enough of a funding for that to follow the student, because the teacher's gonna stay behind at the home school. Because they're only
Yeah.
using one of their students.
Well, once again, not to belabor the point, but we're going to have to understand at what point do we draw the line and who do we draw the line on? As someone who dealt with it as a dean and as a teacher when they started this years ago, you've heard me say this before probably, but I know what it's like to take a loaded gun off a child at school and razor blades and other things like that. And it's some things don't have a place in public school, and
agree.
But if we do budget and Rhonda finds a way to either up the discretionary funds so they could do that, I don't want to take away, like Terry's mentioned, the school's ability to operate. And if they, because they can't fund something, they're going to risk a danger, hazard being at school. So we'll handle it carefully, and I think the board is positive in moving that way if we can pull it off.
I really think,
There's been many times we've approached the schools and asked them if they could work with us, if it's a lean budget year, can you give up 5% or 10% of your discretionary budget? And they've always worked with us, so, if that's the only way to do it this year, we might, determine what the cost of one more teacher would be and
Right.
and divide that out and ask them for something, but we'll try to not go that route and
Does it
fund
have to
their
be a
discretionary
certified
funds, try to
teacher?
fund it without going that route first. But
If
this
you
is
have
the
to have a
time,
certified
probably
teacher.
starting in April, now that the budget session has ended early and everything. we
And
can
you know
start
what you're
building
doing
that
now.
budget.
Yep.
I know what I've got coming and I'll start on it just right away.
Right.
well, again, Mr. Chairman, I really hope that we will allow the foundation an opportunity to look for at-risk programs and grants, because it might even be a little bit more expansive than just personnel. They may offer curriculum, they may offer programming.
I'm sure there's
They-
plenty of them.
They
I'm
may,
sure
they
there's
may
one.
offer, a lot of different things that maybe we've not considered. So I, before we start
Have a grant writer. do
robbing
we?
Peter to pay Paul, it'd be nice if we could see if maybe there's different monies out there. So that's what I hope, anyway.
I appreciate it. Any other comments? All right, it's my turn, and really, right now, the best I can report to you is that just hold your breath and say your prayers for the next week, and
Amen.
we should have some very good news, hopefully, out of Tallahassee that can accomplish some really good needs, so hope it gets by the governor's desk. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Douglas.
Things are going well in the legal department. Nothing new to report.
Nothing like being cryptic there, Mr. Buckles. I love that. Glad that you're going to have a announcement for us. Yes, anytime that we can get something past the governor, it's a good thing. We've done that a couple of times in the past, and that says a lot for us here in Putnam County. A couple of things that certainly next week is spring break, and it is the fair. And that's good for families who can have a great time and they don't have to worry about getting the kids home and doing homework and getting to bed early. So it should be a year where they can really enjoy. But the Bassmaster Elite Series, that is a big deal and a big thing for our chamber, who this is what, the third time we've had them here. This is amazing because this is national TV. The chamber said that there will be activities starting Thursday, March 17th, Friday, and of course the big days are Saturday and Sunday. So bring the kids down. They're going to have a kids zone zoo. They're going to have a zip line. They're going to have animal racers, giveaways, merchandise vendors, weigh-ins and awards, everything. And the neat thing is you may see yourself on TV after this all gets filmed. So bring your kids and grandkids. It looks like it's going to be another great opportunity to see some fish caught and weighed in, and just looks really like a lot of fun. So for the
And
chamber.
2 of our local guys fish them.
Yes, we do have two locals fishing, and so we're going to wish them luck and hope they can win. It'd be nice for them to come in 1 and 2. That'd be exciting.
Get on the team.
I'm hoping they're ready.
I also just wanted to mention to you that I had received a while back a letter from Rick Leary, our county administrator, and the county is partnering with CGI Communications to create a series of professionally produced videos that they're going to use online on their website. The lady that's working with them came to see me not long ago and spoke with myself and Alice McInnes from our Information Services Department and some of her staff, and talked about doing a video not just for us, but they're looking at the municipalities, they're looking at different groups in the community and doing a video. They can do it or we can do it. And then they will attach a link to the county's homepage that will take you to the video. So we did produce a video for Putnam County Schools. It's one that we'll show you soon. We're kind of doing some different things with it right now, a recruitment video, and we're also doing a commercial, a 30-second and a full minute commercial about Putnam County Schools through our media department. They've done a tremendous job. And as soon as we feel ready, we will show those to you. But the bottom line is, they came and met with me and asked about attaching a video they did or a video that we did to the county's homepage. And I said, that's not a decision I can make. I would have to take it to the board, and of course, it's not on the agenda today, but I just want you to know that they have invited us to do that, but it will cost us about $1,295 a year to attach it. Now, you can go to our webpage and see the same thing for free. So, but they offered, and they're offering this to, you know, Rick sent this letter out to all the municipalities and all kinds of groups and organizations in town. So I just wanted to make you aware of the offer. I didn't really think you'd be interested, but I wanted to make you aware. And if you would like, I'll put it on the agenda next time for discussion, but if not, consider yourself made aware. Okay. Thank you. The last thing that I have, your June 7th board meeting, that is the day that the FSBA summer conference starts. So if you're planning to go to that, rather than having a 3:30 in the afternoon meeting, you might want to consider changing that meeting to a morning meeting so that you can have the meeting and then leave to go to the Florida School Board's summer conference. And we can put that on the agenda for the next meeting to change the meeting time, and you can have discussion and go ahead and decide, you know, what time you'd like to have the meeting so that you can get out of here and get to, it's probably Tampa, I'm assuming?
10:30.
It is Tampa. It's Tampa.
Actually, the next morning.
The next morning. But we didn't want you to,
Well,
Have
what
to
about
drive
the
at night.
committees we're on? Some of us are on committees on
that
the
would meet that
Tuesday.
morning?
Just got the first thing, I'll check into it a little more closely. I mean, you could move it to Monday.
You could move the
You go to
meeting
that.
date as well, so.
Chairman thing, that's the day before, and then I'm on
Oh, it
finance
is?
committee.
Well, if you want to check and
On
see when your
legislative, but I
committees
don't think we
meet,
do.
and we'll
So-
put it on the agenda to discuss at the next
I don't
meeting,
know.
so
I
you
haven't
can
seen it.
decide what you
Yeah,
want to do
we'll-
about that
We'll find out
meeting.
before the next meeting.
Okay, and we'll have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. I just want to remind you that the teachers that were here today, that is truly an honor. They are the best of the best as far as the state is concerned because of the achievement those students over 3 years have done in their classes. We have a lot of teachers that were very close to that same level. And so never let anybody tell you we don't have great teachers and great teaching going on in Putnam County Schools, because we do. Those 32 were from across this school district, and they're doing a tremendous job, as all of the schools are. Do we have room for improvement? Always. There'll never be a day or a year or a time in history that we can't improve. But certainly we need to celebrate the successes that we do have and the efforts by our teachers and our administrators. So just wanted to say that. And with that, I think I'm done for today. Thank you very much.
Having nothing else, board members, I will just adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned.